Hello again. This is PrivateCitizen, and I'd like to share how I wired Pathfinder RDS 1821 LED lights on my 2018 Goldwing. What's different about this install is I already have a Kuryakyn plug-and-play sub-harness installed with one connector not used. So instead of adding a second Pathfinder brand sub-harness in series, I decided to repin the connector on the Pathfinder lights to work in the Kuryakyn plug-and-play harness connector. This is the Honda OEM sub-harness connector, and you can see that the two pins on the right, the top and bottom, are not used. They're empty. And on the Kuryakyn sub-harness, you can see that it also uses that same pin configuration with two connectors on the right being empty. And this shows the Pathfinder connector, but this is different because it actually uses or wires all the pins even though two of them aren't used by Honda. This diagram shows the row of connectors used inside the Honda OEM sub-harness connector for this install. The stop or brake light, the left and right turn signals, the tail or running/present light, and what wires are used for the ground. To match the Kuryakyn sub-harness connectors, I needed to rewire the Pathfinder male connector wiring. So this is the wiring that's actually connected to the light that will plug into the harness. And you can see what the original is and what they needed to be changed to in this picture. It's just a matter of removing the pins, 3 of them. The red one stays in place, removing the other 3 and moving them to new locations. Here I'm showing how to actually rewire the connector. I only did this with one connector, but it's the same for both if you just follow the diagram. So you need to be patient with this because it takes a little time to get the catch released so that you can actually slide the wire out. Here I'm showing that I'll use a safety pin. This safety pin's about 1.5 inches long, I would say. Maybe 1.75 inches. You could probably use a straight pin or anything similar. Just something to fit inside the opening, the larger part of the opening in the actual connector. The first thing, you need to remove the protector to keep water from getting inside. It's probably the best way to call it. It's like a little rubber insulation type piece that fits inside. So I just use the safety pin in the corner to try to wedge it out far enough to remove it. So I'm showing this with the connector side, pin side down, which is the same way I show it in the diagrams or pictures that I show how to change the wiring. So you push the pin in, you can see about how far it goes in. And really you want to push in towards the smaller square side, and then once you get to the back you kind of want to push down and kind of pry up the connector a little bit. That's the best way I can explain it. But with a little trial and error, you'll get a feel for it. and then the wire, when you tug on it, it'll just come right out. You could also, if you hit the right spot, push the safety pin or whatever pin you use far enough in that it actually prevents the catch from catching, and then you can pull the wire straight out also. You don't have to force the wire out. Don't be super strong trying to pull it. Once you get it right, it'll slide right out. See? Nice and easy. So you have to do 3 of these. Remember, the red wire stays in place. So it's just the other 3 you need to remove. And you have to do this for the right side connector as well as the left side, or for the right light as well as the light that's installed on the left side. That's number 2. So here I am sliding it into the correct position. And then once you have all the wires in the right location, you just reinstall that insulator water protector and you're done. So in this example, I had already moved the lights to the proper position. Moved the wires to the proper position. So I just took 2 of them out to show you how it's done and basically reinserted them. But you would follow the diagram to make sure that you put them in the right position. Again, with the latch or opening where the latch would go would be face down. Here's a close-up of the connector. I hope this helps when you're trying to use a paper clip or something similar to release the wires. You can see here a few pictures of the wires from different sides to also help out and give you an idea of what's going on inside the connector. This shows the final connector on the right side of the bike facing forward. You can see the one connector is darker, and that's from the residue of the black electrical tape that I had on since I hadn't been using that connector previously. You can see the wire colors are different on that one than the other because that's actually the Pathfinder connector going to the Kuryakyn sub-harness connector. If you decide that instead of trying to remove the pins from the connector and resorting them in a different order, you'd rather just use a Pathfinder sub-harness, cut off one of the connectors and splice it in, here is a chart that shows that. This chart shows the pinout for the Kuryakyn plug-and-play wiring, and it also shows the pinout for the Pathfinder plug-and-play wiring. So you can see what color wires are at the connectors as well as to the sub-harness plug that's connecting to the bike in case you want to do something special or different with your bike. Thank you for watching.